I think when you cook for someone, it has to come from your heart. You know, you're giving of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're um, you're dying to self, basically. You know, I'm cooking this meal and giving myself away to you. So that's my philosophy is to always, you know, treat every customer as with, and I don't even call them customers. I call them friends. You know,
Mm.
I'm cooking for you and I'm giving myself to you.
Welcome to Birthing Purpose with Lana. Today we have Chef Eric Wells. He is a personal chef, caterer, author, and culinary instructor. His company, Skye LaRae's Culinary Services, began in 2004. He was the first African American graduate of the International Culinary Arts and Sciences Institute in Chesterland, Ohio, in 2004. Welcome, Chef Eric. How are you?
Hey, Lana, how are you today?
Good, good. Thank you for coming. You have such a busy schedule. I've tried to book you and cut it. So I thank you that you're able to take time out to do this interview. But I'll get a meal one day. I'll get a meal for you.
No problem. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, but I've heard such rave reviews about your cooking, and I know people know these people know good food. So thank you. Thank you for being here.
No problem.
Yes. So, when did you decide to start cooking? Like, we're here talking about people's birthing purpose journey. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just want to talk to you about how you know that you were called to be a chef. When did it all begin?
Well, it began a long time ago. I always enjoyed cooking, cooked a lot with my mom when I was young. The first dish I've ever made was I was 8 years old when I made it. And again, just enjoyed cooking with my mother when I was young. My mother ended up getting really sick.
Mm.
She ended up having a lung transplant back in the
Mm.
mid 90s. The lung transplant went well, but she actually succumbed um, to kidney failure. Her
Mm.
the medicine she had to take to make sure her lungs didn't reject destroyed her kidneys, and she passed away of kidney failure in 2003.
Mm.
But one of the last things she told me before she passed away was to take this gift that I've been blessed with to the next level. So I didn't know what that meant. So I prayed on it, was given this vision of going to culinary school.
Mm.
But at the time, you know, while I'm married, children, mortgage, working for a Fortune 500 company,
Mm.
you know, what I'm going to do about culinary school. So my family decided to use my mother's insurance money to send me to culinary school. So from there, I worked during the day, 9 to 5, and went to school in the evening. And as you mentioned, ended up graduating and being the first African American to graduate from my culinary school. And the journey started there.
Wow, that is so nice that and loving that you had a family that would support you and back you up and back up your mom's vision that she had for you. She saw mamas know, right?
Exactly, exactly. She saw it, and it was great that my family agreed to do that. And
Yeah.
you know, every day I thank God for that.
You giving me hope because I usually you hear families fighting and arguing and falling out about the money when the, and hear a family coming together to send you to college. This is the first time I've heard such a great story.
Yeah, it's
when
you know
someone dies and money's involved, that is
exactly,
amazing.
exactly. And again, it's just a blessing to have great parents the way I did. And you know, again, my mother passed before my father did, but you know, my father, when my mother passed, my father kind of, you know, knew my mother's vision for me and us, and
Mm.
wanted to go ahead and make sure things went exactly the way she wanted it.
Wow. And you wanted it too, obviously, because it was
Exactly.
in you. Yeah. So you would say it was a natural gift um
Hmm.
or you school really helped you, or was it just a natural gift for you?
So it's interesting you mentioned that. I always tell people that um, culinary school taught me how to be a chef, but my mama taught me how to cook. So,
Okay.
you
All
know,
right,
I think it
mama.
was yeah, I think it was a natural gift. I always enjoyed it. You know, pairing different herbs, proteins, things like that to create an amazing dish. So yeah, I've always had a passion for it. And again, I was honored and blessed to take it to the next level.
Wow. Now you call yourself a cheftivist. And I'm like, what is a cheftivist? Tell me about that. What is a cheftivist?
So I believe that we've all been given gifts. We've all been given gifts that are, from God, and
Yes,
we
absolutely.
should use those gifts to not just further ourselves, but to help others and to give back.
Absolutely.
I am really big on giving back. Um, I am involved with 7 different charitable organizations in the greater Cleveland area. And I don't, promote that like, yeah, I'm doing this. That's something I do. I donate monies, time. A lot of times, before COVID, they'll have events and I'll be there, passing out food and things like that for these events.
Mm.
I also do a lot of speaking engagements in schools. Before COVID, I would go to schools and speak both in the inner city and in the suburbs and share my story and share my gifts. So that's some of the stuff I do here. And again, just giving back is one of the biggest things that I'm about. I'm really about using the gift that I've been blessed with to bless and enhance the lives of others. And by doing that, other people are blessed through me. So I always love giving back. So that's where the cheftivism and the cheftiviz came in.
Good. Yes. And you're an author as well. Tell me a little bit about your book. What's the title?
So the name of the book is Cooking with Chef Wells, Intimate Dinners for Two. This is the book right here.
Oh, hold it up. Hold it up.
No, that's the book, Cooking with Chef Wells, Intimate Dinners for Two. So what the book here is, as you mentioned, I specialize in the intimate dinners for two. I've done almost 2,000 of those in the Cleveland, Akron, Canton, Columbus area. So most of the recipes in the book are for 2 people, just like my dinners for 2. But what I did was I had 29 of my favorite couples that I cook for share their story in the book. So it's their picture and their story of how they met, their dating story, their wedding, their anniversary, funny vacations that they've been on. And I just gave them carte blanche. I told them, hey, listen, I want you in my book. All I need is a picture and tell me the story. Tell me the story. So when I go to couples' homes and I cook for them in their homes, it's more than me just throwing food on the table and having a meet. We're conversing all evening. We're getting to know each other. I'm learning about their love language, how they met, things like that. So these 29 couples touched me. They really were couples I've grown to be really good friends with, and I just wanted them to share their story. So it's interesting with the book. A lot of people have bought the book, and the book has been going amazingly well. But it's funny, people tell me all the time that they don't read the recipes in the book. All they do is read the stories. People just read the stories of the couples. So the stories are really, really great stories. And again, I just thank each of the 29 couples for sharing their lives with me in this book.
Oh, and where can someone purchase your book?
So the book is available on Amazon. Just do a search, Cooking with Chef Wells, you'll find it. It's $24.95. So it's not super expensive. And it's more of a coffee table type book. I love, it's amazing because, again, I've done so many dinners for 2. I go to people's homes and I'll walk in their homes and my book is sitting there on their counter or something. And I get a little misty then.
Right.
There's my book.
Now, how did you get the idea to come up with this book?
It kind of came from doing the dinners for 2, talking to so many couples, learning their stories. And I've heard so many amazing stories from couples, just how they met. It's just, it's funny stories, some very funny stories, but just some really romantic, just interesting stories. So I just thought it'd be really interesting to just do a cookbook, but also share the stories in the book. So, it's just like, and, just kind of pull up just a picture, like for example, this is a couple here, and that's their picture and their story there. And, I got, recipes throughout the book and things like that, different pictures and stuff. But again, it's just sharing my gift with these couples and them sharing their story with me. I just thought it was a perfect match.
Yes. So now, are you going to do a second edition? Because I want to be in there.
I
I want
am
you to, I want my story in there.
I am working on a book. I am working on a book now. I'm in prayer about it. Part of me wants it to be an autobiography, which is,
Okay.
which is really, really interesting. The other part is going to be similar to this, but I got a different concept with the couples and things like that. So working
I
that
gotta
out.
get you over here then. I gotta get you over here.
Yeah, working that out, but yeah, we'll see how that works. I got I kind of gave myself a little deadline by midsummer. I should have
Okay.
the ball rolling on these book on either book.
All right. So let's talk about these intimate dinners for two. What is your signature dish?
Hmm. So I can tell you what more people order than anything. So I offer 15 different menus, and there's 6-course dinners. So when I go to a couple's home, I bring everything. I bring the linen, flowers, candles, china, silverware, cookware, everything. The only thing I use at a client is their stove and water, and I clean up afterwards. So I serve them in courses, just like they're in a restaurant, 6 courses throughout the evening. If you see behind me all these plates and everything,
Yes.
that's the stuff I bring to their house.
Yes.
I design it up depending on what they will like.
Mm-hmm.
I bring fresh flowers, everything, and they keep the flowers for the evening. But to answer your question, probably the most popular dish is I do a surf and turf. You have 6 different options with surf, 6 different options for turf, and usually that's what people order. I say I'd probably do that maybe 60% of the time.
Wow. So what is your least favorite dish to make? When someone say, I want this, you're like, oh,
Um,
not that.
so, so that's interesting, because of the way my I work my menus. It's my business. I can take things on. I mean, I can add things on and take things off the menu. So if I feel like something's not selling or I just don't want to make it anymore,
Okay.
I can definitely take it off the menu.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I used to have a pasta on there, um, and people would order the pasta, and it was kind of difficult to kind of get to where I wanted to go. So I took it off the menu. So really, I don't have any dishes I
Mhm.
don't like cooking on there. Everything on there I enjoy
You
making.
enjoy
Yeah,
not taking it off. Okay.
exactly.
Well, okay. So what is your overall cooking philosophy?
I think when you cook for someone, it has to come from your heart. You're giving of yourself.
Mhm.
You're um you're dying to self, basically. I'm cooking this meal and giving myself away to you. So that's my philosophy is to always um, you know, treat every customer as with, and I don't even call them customers, I call them friends.
Mm.
I'm cooking for you and I'm giving myself to you. Now, to be a little more specific with regard to food, I cook using what I call the 4 S's. I
Mm.
do salty, sweet, spicy, and sour.
Mm.
Some dishes would have all 4. Some dishes would have 3 of the 4. Some dishes would only have 2 of the 4. But that's a balanced way to cook is doing the salty, sweet, spicy, sour. And a great example of the salty sweet would be what we ate for pretty much our entire lives, which is peanut butter and jelly. It's
Okay.
salty and sweet. You
Right.
got the
Right.
saltiness for the peanut butter, the
Right.
sweetness for the jelly, and it
Mhm.
pairs very well.
Mhm. And it's so funny because when I eat something sweet, then I want something salty. And if I eat something salty, then I want something sweet. It's just a natural
Right,
desire.
right,
And I
right.
thought I was like, something up with me? What's going on with me?
No, yeah, that's the way that we're kind of built, and I don't know the
Yeah.
science behind it, but dishes pair well when you can pair a salty and sweet or a spicy and sour or
Oh,
something
wow.
like that.
Yeah. So Easter is coming up,
Mhm.
and I am going to try to cook a rack of lamb.
Nice.
Never did it before.
Okay.
What tips you have for me?
So if you're doing it as a rack of lamb, that's a wonderful dish to do. What I like to do is take the entire rack, coated in Dijon mustard, the backside of it on Dijon mustard. Okay.
Okay.
Then take breadcrumbs.
Write this down.
You could take some panko breadcrumbs, kind of toss them in a little with some rosemary and thyme in the panko breadcrumbs, and coat the rack of lamb, on the side that has the mustard, and then put it in the oven. Now you're going to roast that. I like my lamb medium rare, but if you would like it a little more done, you can cook it a little more done. Lamb shouldn't technically be over medium when you're cooking it. If it gets over medium, it gets really chewy and it's not really all that great. But yeah, you can roast it in the oven, 425. I would roast it for my time period, maybe 12 to 15 minutes, and it's done. Depending on the thickness of the chops or the thickness of the rack of lamb, and let it rest before you cut into it, and it should be perfect.
And that was mustard.
Dijon mustard.
Dijon, just regular Dijon mustard.
Yeah.
Breadcrumbs.
Rosemary, fresh rosemary, fresh
thyme.
Yeah.
And then marinate it and roast it medium for 425 for 12 to 15 minutes.
12 to 15 minutes. Again, depending on the thing, they're really thin chops. You probably want to do it closer to 10 to 12 minutes, but if they're thicker ones, you can get probably up to about 15 minutes.
I'm gonna do it.
The key to it here is if you have a thermometer, a kitchen thermometer, having a kitchen thermometer in there to get the proper temperature of the meat, so you don't you don't overcook it or you don't undercook it.
Awesome. Oh, I can't wait. So name your 3 kitchen tools that you cannot live without.
I love my my thermometer. I'm almost obsessed with my thermometer. I have one I got from a store. I don't want to give them promotion, but from a store, and it's a digital one. So it gives me a perfect read, whatever I need. If I'm heating oil, when I need oil at a certain temperature, or if I'm getting the temperature of meat, it's giving me the perfect temperature every time. My second one is I have a whole entire basket of whisks. So I always use whisk. I have about at least 15 of them in there.
Okay.
Different sizes, different shapes of whisks. So I love whisks. And then I don't know, my third one would be I don't know, probably my saute pans. I have tons of saute pans, non-stick pans, and I love using them. And I use them all the time. Yeah, so those 3 would be, you know what? I'm sorry, we're gonna take the saute pans out.
Okay.
The most important thing in my kitchen are my knives.
Your knives, okay.
I tell people all the time that I have 4 very important things in my life: my wife, my children, my faith, and my knives, in no particular order. So the knives are very, very important to me.
Very important. All right. So is there a chef that you admire, that you kind of like your role model, mentor?
Well, I have a chef that I look up to that I've never had the chance to meet, and it would be my goal in life to meet him, and that would be Chef Marcus Samuelsson.
Okay.
Marcus Samuelsson is an amazing chef, and his story is even better. He was born in Africa. He was actually his mother and father was killed during the war, and he was an orphan, and he was adopted by a Swedish family. We grew up in Sweden. This African boy grew up in Sweden, learned about Swedish food, came to America, opened the top Swedish restaurant in the world. This African, started this Swedish restaurant in New York. And it was an amazing restaurant, apparently. He left that restaurant, he closed that restaurant, and now he has a couple of high-end Southern soul food restaurants in the country. One is in Harlem, one is in Florida, and I believe one is in Vegas. And these are considered some of the top restaurants in the country. But you see him on TV all the time, on Food Network and things like that. Just seems like he's an amazing guy, and I would love to sit down and have a cup of hot chocolate with him and sit and
I
talk
bet
about
you
his
can
story.
meet him. Y'all out there, anybody know him personally? Make that connection. I think
It's
before
funny.
you leave this earth, you'll be able to meet him. And all you gotta do is pray with your faith, right? I'm
Amen.
gonna touch and
Amen.
agree that you gonna meet him before
Yeah,
you leave.
my wife and I, a couple of years ago, we went to New York,
Mhm.
and we went to Harlem. We went to his restaurant in Harlem, hoping that he would be there. But unfortunately, he wasn't there. So, but one day,
One day, I believe
one day
it.
we'll cross paths.
That's right. Yes. So, what advice do you have to aspiring chefs?
My main advice, and the one thing I'll answer that question in a second, but the one thing that I do is I mentor a ton of chefs here in the greater Cleveland area,
Mm,
especially African American chefs.
okay.
Um, and I take this as I'm honored that I do it, but a lot of upcoming chefs, they always reach out to me. Hey, chef, can we sit down and talk? And can you talk to me about how you did this? And I'm the kind of person, I share everything. I'll share my
Right.
story. I'll share the pitfalls and things like that. But to answer your question, the main thing here is to stay in your lane.
Mm,
Stay in your lane. Too many chefs, especially when you're a private chef or a personal chef like I am,
mhm,
too many chefs try to do too much.
mm,
They want to do pastry, they want to do cupcakes, but they want to do brunch, but they want to do meal prep, but they want to do, dinners for two, and they want to cater and things like that. You can't go in all these different directions at once.
mm,
Find your niche, find the two or three things that you do really well, focus on those, and
mhm,
that would be my big thing that I would tell any chef.
mm. So, are you noticing any trends regarding wine in food for those wine lovers out there?
Yeah,
Not drunks, not drunks, okay? Not the drunkards, but, but the wine lovers out there. Any
the
trends?
one thing, there was a movie on Netflix that came out a couple of years ago
Mhm,
that had an African American guy that wanted to be a sommelier or wine expert,
mhm,
and I think that really opened the eyes of a lot of African Americans with regard to wine and pairing wines with foods.
mhm,
It is, wine is amazing. It pairs the best, and a good wine pairs wonderfully with a great meal. I've had the opportunity to go to Napa Valley. I've been in Napa Valley. I've been in
mm,
Sonoma. I've been in some of these wine countries in upstate New York and things like that. So to see how wines pair with food is amazing. So as far as trends, wine is thousands of years old. So there's really no newer trends. I kind of stick away, and no disrespect to anyone, but I kind of stay away from these kind of processed wines that people
mm,
get these kits, and these companies get these kits and they make these fruity wines and things like that.
mhm,
That's, some people like it, and if that's what you like, that's totally cool. But I'm kind of a standard. I stay with the standard wines when I'm serving my clients. The standard grape. And again, a great wine would pair really well with a wonderful meal. And I always try to get a great wine for my clients.
mhm. So, will we see Chef Eric Wells' restaurant in the future?
No. Well, I'm not going to say no, but I did the restaurant thing before. I
You
actually
did?
had a restaurant
Okay.
over in the Tremont area of Cleveland. We
Mm,
were the first Black-owned restaurant ever in Tremont.
mm,
We were there in 2014. We opened March of 2014, closed in July of 2015. It was one of the most difficult things I've ever done.
mm.
I don't think I'd ever do it again. And I understand when people think that a chef should have a restaurant, but I am doing quite well without having a restaurant.
Mhm.
And honestly, the main reason why is because I have no overhead. If you have a restaurant, you got to
Right.
pay rent, you got to pay your employees, you got to pay gas, you got to pay, electric, you got to pay everything,
Everything.
insurances, things like that. I have insurance on my private chef business, but all of this behind me, I own. I own all of this. The
Mhm,
only overhead I have is technically the gas to get to people's house.
mhm,
Um, but everything else, is profit.
Wow.
And
And marketing and all of that, right?
correct.
Would you say most of your customers are or friends are just word of mouth, or do you do a lot of marketing?
A lot of it's word of mouth.
Mhm.
Social media has been really good.
Mhm.
A lot of it's TV also. I've been blessed to be on
Okay.
local TV a lot. So, people always contact me. I was just on local TV last week.
Mhm.
And someone, reached out to me immediately and was like, hey, I would love to do for you to do an event for me. So that kind of familiarity with people seeing me on TV so often,
Mhm.
that has been really big also. So I thank God for it. I praise God for the opportunity and the mantle that He has given
Yeah.
me. But yeah, a lot of it's word of mouth. I don't really spend a
Yeah.
lot of time and money on marketing.
So it says here you've appeared on Food Request Live on Fox 8, What's New on Channel 3, and WEWS Newsnet 5 in Cleveland's almost 100 times.
Right,
You've
correct.
also had articles written about you in the Cleveland Plain Dealer, Scene Magazine, Crain's Cleveland Business, and Edible Cleveland.
Correct. Yeah, it's been a blessing. It really is.
Mhm.
My wife, we talked about it when I decided to go this path. And in our conversation, we prayed on it and talked about it. And one thing that I really wanted to do is I wanted to, in a non, pompous way, but I wanted to be a household name. I wanted
Mhm.
people to know, when you hear Chef Eric Wells, your first mindset is quality. Your first mindset is the type of man that he is. He's a upstanding man, a godly man, things like that.
Mhm.
Beyond the chef thing, he's a
Mhm.
man of God and a man that's a man of his word, a man that comes on to a Zoom call on time. So
Yes, early, early. You were early. I
so
said, that's what I'm talking about.
that's just the man that I am. I try to be as upstanding as I can. I mean, if I give somebody my word is bond.
Yes.
I'm going to do and say what I promise to do and say.
Oh, wow. So how can someone get in contact with you to book? And how far in advance? Because I can't get in.
Yeah.
How far? I need to book now for next year.
So I'll answer that question. A couple of things here. So you can get in contact with me by doing a Google Yahoo search, Chef Eric Wells. The name of the business is Skye LaRae's Culinary Services. Spelling is SKYELARAES.com. Or again, Google Yahoo search Chef Eric Wells. My number is 216-254-2808.
And
And
you're on
probably,
Facebook
and I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Twitter sometimes.
under
Uh,
Chef Eric Wells.
Chef Eric Wells, definitely. But as far as booking me on my website, I have an availability calendar.
Okay.
So you can check out the calendar to see if I have any available days.
Okay.
If you want an intimate dinner for two or any event on the weekend, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, fortunately or unfortunately, you have to book me at least 4 to 6 months in advance. My next availability isn't until August for a weekend. I have some weekdays available here and there, but it's a blessing that
Yes.
people book me well in advance. I have bookings into next year already, into 2023. So,
Wow.
it's a blessing. And I just advise people to contact me early, especially if you
Mm-hmm.
want to do something like those big holidays, like
Right.
Valentine's Day, things like that. Don't wait until January 12th to call me for Valentine's Day.
You're not gonna get in. I'm telling you guys right now.
Doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Oh well, congratulations on all your success. I love to see people doing their thing and just being blessed and giving back to their community. And I look forward to having one of those intimate dinners
Nice.
with you, just bringing everything and doing everything and just getting to know you on another level and becoming your friend as well as others. Yes.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm honored to be on here. Thank you for letting me share my story. And I just again just love sharing my story and love showing what the Lord has done for me in my life.
Yes. All right. God bless. Take care.
All right, take care. Have a good one.